Hello, everyone. Steve Westman, the Audiophile Roundtable. Fun one today in the search for the vinyl album Holy Grail. What is the Holy Grail? Do we have Holy Grails? Do we care about Holy Grails? Mazzy's already shaking his head. He doesn't care about Holy Grails. I've got a few to show today. I know Patrick apparently just found one yesterday. Patrick, welcome.
Howdy.
Mazzy, welcome.
Hello.
Arnaldo, welcome.
Hey, Steve.
Nice to have you back on the show here. I'm going to give you a plug here. You've been doing a lot of work on your YouTube channel, so I want to give you a plug here if I can find your channel. Tell us about your channel. Where do we find it?
Fidelio's Frequency. And yeah, trying to do as many videos as I can.
I saw that. You've been pumping them out lately. That's awesome.
Try to do one a week at least, but my latest one is probably the best thing I've heard this year so far. Tell
us about that.
It's a band called Bridget Calls Me Baby. And of course, if they sound like the Smiths, I'm going to like them. And they do. They sound a little bit like the Strokes as well as Roy Orbison. So channeling a little bit of both. I have the record in the other room. If you want me to do a plug later, I'll do that.
Nice. Love it. Excellent. Loved it. Love that. I brought some grails as well. Mine are probably obvious because I'm, sometimes Captain Obvious with the stuff that I listen to. But I'm really more curious because I know Mazzy's got a big collection. I know you're telling me you don't really have a grail, but you probably got some favorites that go on your turntable and you spin a lot. So
I'll give you an
we'll get into that.
How I pick the ones I picked.
We'll get into that as well.
The other ones aren't so obvious, but
yeah. So I was excited. I finally picked up my Pure Fidelity turntable, guys. So I'm really thankful for the people at Pure Fidelity, John and Joe. Thank you for that. I'm breaking it in right now, and it's been a real treat to be able to have that on loan. And I'll give you an update on that. I did a little video as well when I went to the shop. So I'll show not today. I'll show that. I got to edit it and stuff and show that to the folks how they build turntables by hand. Kind of cool. Not bad. So we'll start the show off. My favorite part, Mazzy loves it. Things that make you go, I got a couple ones. You might know this one, Mazzy. This is interesting. Did you know this? Did you know that Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury plays the very same piano used by Paul McCartney in Hey Jude? Did you know that?
That sounds familiar. I don't know if I knew it or not, or I just dreamed it. But that sounds like I heard that, but I don't.
So I'm assuming that's, in that video where he set the piano, the people that are around him, and they got John and up on the stage.
Well, is
that piano then? I would assume.
Was that what, Trident or Olympic? That was not.
That's right. I was gonna ask you, Maz. You probably know. Was it at Trident?
Yeah, it wasn't at Abbey Road.
Because
I always get confused, Trident or Olympic.
A Night at the Opera was recorded at Trident. So
that's the piano that Paul McCartney is playing on during that video would be the one that Freddie played on Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah,
that's right around the corner from Carnaby Street in London, and yeah,
there you go.
I did not know that.
Bohemian Rhapsody and Hey Jude have a connection. The same piano was used to play both songs.
There you go.
Now everyone's going to go back and listen to both and see if they can hear that. Who's a better pianist, Freddie Mercury or Paul McCartney?
That's a good question. Technically, I don't know.
Although in Bohemian Rhapsody, actually the piano, if you recall correctly, I haven't listened in a long time. It's a pretty good little piano piece in there.
I don't remember the piano in it. Oh, yes, I do. The intro, right, or the outro.
Freddie is the better pianist.
Yeah. Okay.
Although he didn't, I read quotes of him thinking that he didn't think himself as a very good pianist. So he was very modest about his skills and his abilities, but I think he was probably the better of the two. But Paul McCartney, of course, plays any instrument, right? But
when is music a competition, right?
Right.
So Paul's a better drummer than Freddie then.
Well, Paul's a better drummer than anyone of the Beatles.
No,
that's not true. That's the
drummer.
Joke. I know. Yeah. He's actually he's a decent, solid drummer that keeps the beat. Yeah,
I think he keeps the beat. If you listen to him in was it the Ballad of John and Yoko, Back in the USSR? It's very similar drum structure and beat to that.
My Dark Hour by Steve Miller.
Yeah, that's right. Which is recorded at Abbey Road, wasn't the Steve Miller song? Okay, one more. This is Canadiana. Check this out. Astronaut Chris Hadfield became the first Canadian to walk in space, which is cool, but he also turned out to be a talented musician. He first went viral for his cover of David Bowie's Space Odyssey during his 144-day stay at the International Space Station. Hadfield recorded 11 original songs, and in 2015, he released them in an album aptly titled Space Session, Songs for a Tin Can. Chris Hadfield. Canadiana.
I saw that video on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You can go look at it.
How many views did he get on that one?
A couple of million, I think.
Wow.
Quite a few.
That's kind of cool. So Space Odyssey, there he is.
More because of David Bowie than him, I think. But yeah.
So normally George Borden would be here today. He's here in spirit. Not that he's not with us in reality, but he's here in spirit only because he really wanted to do a boil over today. So I'll put this up. This is his boil over. He can't make it today because apparently, without notice, this is what happened to him. They're changing all the hydro lines in front of his house, so he has no power and very crappy data and internet on his phone, so he can't join us today. But he wanted to show us that he is still listening to records on this battery-operated record player with a Bluetooth speaker, and he sent me a video of the sound of it. It doesn't sound too bad, and apparently the cartridge on that record player is the same that he uses in his Rigas, so that's what he's doing right now. So he wanted to let the folks know that his boil over was that there is no power at his house. I bet that
turntable has more stable speed control than his Riga too.
What? I don't even know. I forget the name of it. Whoa! He'll probably make a comment now if he's watching.
He can't make a comment right now, can he?
Hey, well, he can. He's on.
I'm a Riga guy, so I just ignore Patrick when he talks like that. So
it's okay, man. I ignore you all the time.
It's true. It's true.
So one other thing, and the things that make you go home. I was looking. This is interesting. I don't know if I don't know many people in Denmark, but check this out. Streaming fraud leads to prison sentence for a Danish man in a case called Historic by Artist Groups. So I don't know if you heard of this one, Arnaldo, being in the business, but check this out here. He during the trial in February, the prosecutor said that there's 244 tracks that were listened to 5.5 million times in 1 week. And the majority of those streams going to only 20 subscription accounts that the guy owned. So he was an artist uploading. He was basically uploading his own material and then somehow getting some AI stuff to then stream the 244 tracks 5.5 million times to create obviously revenue for himself.
So basically,
he got a quarter. He got
$15 for 15.
So it says here, though, I mean, again, look at this, and it also says here, prosecutors also said the tracks of the defendants uploaded were not his own as well. There were also other artists' work that had their tempo, length change. He was also found guilty of copyright breach on 37 tracks.
Okay, that's different. But playing your own song via like an AI or via automatic doesn't seem illegal to me.
It's illegal because that's what he did on top of basically copying stuff. And look at this.
Well, I can see if it's other people's music, but if you stream your own songs millions of times, why is that illegal? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, look at this. So prosecutors originally claimed the defendant had earned $635,000 on the fraudulent streams.
Really?
But they could only prove that he earned almost $300,000. So he was, I guess he had to pay back the money plus the fine. So there you go.
I didn't know you could.
Yeah. Well, that's what he's doing. He's using these bots and AI things to basically stream his own music. Plus, he got tagged with a fine for copyright infringement for using some of the other artists' stuff in there. So there you go. So AI takes over again, but this guy got caught by the Danish government and got thrown in jail for 18 months as well. So have fun in jail. It must not be worth it for $600,000. Come on. And he's going to
put in jail all the people that don't play on their own records.
And he's going to appeal that. He's going to appeal that sentence as well. I'm like, good luck. Have fun with that while you sit in jail doing that. But anyways, that was today's edition brought to you by Pure Fidelity, things that make you go home. I thought that was fun, but now I'm going to have to watch.
Now this is sponsored by Pure Fidelity?
No, it's not sponsored. I just want to give them a shout out. These are small business owners that want to make a buck. We're trying to help them out just like anyone else. So no, not shilling anything like that.
No, I didn't apply it that way. I thought it was just kind of funny that, it's like, I thought you were just doing a bit.
Yeah, there you go. So
it's always a bit.
It's always
a bit around here.
Okay, so who wants to start? Did you guys get the homework assignment today? Did you guys know what we're doing? Did you catch that?
I didn't understand the homework assignment. Like I don't usually.
There's always one
homework
student that doesn't understand.
So obviously,
I don't get it. So.
Patrick never got it anyway. So, and the search for the vinyl album Holy Grail. So it's all about our journey finding what we call whatever the Holy Grail is. It doesn't have to be $1 million record or $100,000 record. Something that you feel is the best out there. You search for it. You've wanted it for years. The story behind that type of thing. Okay,
let me start just because, and I'm going to get a little preface here because I don't specifically believe in a Holy Grail type of thing. And you talk about the best, and I've never gone out looking for something the best. Having said that, there are records that I want. Sometimes it's for the cover art. Sometimes, in two cases, I have two records here that I've had wonderfully on CD, and I just wanted the vinyl. They came out during the vinyls, like when there weren't a lot of vinyl copies coming out. I stumbled across them reasonably. But the first one is an obvious Grail that I didn't know was Grail when I was my 19th birthday, just because, and I showed this before on my channel. So if you're viewers of mine, you've seen this and you heard this story.
Let's
before.
see it.
But I'm showing, this. Now, obviously, the reason I got this was the cover. 1966, this came out in America only. This is a paste over that's been steamed off, obviously. In 1973, I did not have this copy. So what is that? 7 years after it, my girlfriend at the time, Judy, unbeknownst to me, gives this to me for my 19th birthday in August. And thing is, I won't get it. She wrote on it. Okay. So right there, some people would be upset. And I'm not, I've still to this day haven't been upset. And she said, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she says, "Happy birthday, Norman. I give you this 500th album." This was my 500th album, because in those days I was counting, and I don't remember said, I'm getting to 500. So she found this, seek this out. This is obviously pre-internet, 1973. I had surprisingly never seen a copy in the wild back then. And this means the world to me. I don't care about the value. I don't care about the music I have on so many other sources. But to have a butcher cover, I have another one since that's a little better quality. So I would never get rid of this in my lifetime. But even her writing this, it makes it more special to me. And I guess that's considered a Grail. But for whatever reason, I don't know why I really wasn't looking for one for myself for those 7 years. So there you go. Another one that I got, and this is a version that I was looking for years, and it's very hard to get. Bookends is not a hard record to find, but the mono copy is very hard to find. The mono, and supposedly the story goes that Paul Simon does not like the mono. That's why they've never either, Columbia or Sony or Sundays never issued a mono version. I would say the stereo is definitely the better version.
I don't think so.
A mono copy this. Every time I see this record, I look to see if it's a mono. So it's really hard to find. I mean, you can buy them on eBay and they're not like hundreds of dollars, but it is somewhat of a rare record. So I guess this was one for years I've been looking for, but I never went online to look for it. And
Mazzy, 1 second. So on the butcher cover there, the stereo is actually rarer than the mono. So which one do you have?
This is a mono. Oh, yeah. This is a mono.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a nice.
I think both of mine are mono. I think
I have that too. I didn't take it off my wall in my listening room, but mine was the mono version as well.
And the other two albums are not particularly rare albums, and I know within the next year one of them will come out for sure being reissued. And I don't even care if so I'm not one that has to have an original of records I like, but one of my all-time favorite Neil Young records of the 90s period, I think A Comeback After is really crappy Geffen stuff, depending on your taste. Within that 90s period, I've always loved Sleep with Angels. And it only came out, I believe, in Germany and the UK originally. Oh, no, maybe this is an American. Anyway, I stumbled across this. I think it's a European copy. Anyway, pressed in Europe. This is hard to get on vinyl now. Now, the way Neil Young's been issuing those volumes, I believe the next one, this will probably be in it. So it'll be out musically. I've had this CD. This is amongst my favorite of the 90s period of Neil Young. It's a fantastic record. And to find this on vinyl accidentally and not expensive in a collection that my half-brother's friend had in Eureka, California. We went to his storage area, just got, and I looked through this and I found this, and I think I ended up paying him $60 for it, which was very reasonable for what this goes for right now. It will be coming out. They haven't announced it, but he does the releases in order. It's kind of grunt. It's better than that. It's great songwriting. I think this is a single disc. Maybe Oh, no, this is a double disc. Never mind. It is a double disc, which it should be because it's a long CD. So single sleeve, but double disc. And the other one, again, the only other one I pulled here, which was a grail of an album I love, and I had on CD, and I found this at the New York show I went to, or a record store when I was in New York last fall, and that is Cracker's The Golden Age. Cracker is David Lowery's band after Camper Van Beethoven, and there's one song on here that always gets to me, and it's this beautiful song called The Big Dipper, and it's really kind of about the band's from Santa Cruz, the Camper Van Beethoven, and it's a Big Dipper is the big roller coaster down in Santa Cruz. It's just a great song. This is a fantastic sounding record. I wasn't sure if it would sound good on vinyl, and this cost me $100 or $90 at the store because this came out again, Virgin Records. This is a first press, only press. Just love this record, but I've had the CD. So musically, I've had all this music. I like the sound of these records on vinyl better than CDs, and I'm not an anti-CD person. So those are my 4, the closest I would call Grail. But I don't keep a list of things that I'm looking for.
Sorry, my mic was off. Sorry, thank you, Mazzy. I appreciate that. I wasn't expecting to see those titles, so that's some good stuff there.
Well, that's the whole idea, isn't it?
I know. Well,
think I'm going to show a Rush album?
I thought we know you probably only have 2 Rush albums in your whole collection.
It would have been better than showing Cracker, that's for sure.
I knew you were going to say something. Patrick, I know you probably brought a rant. Viewers want to hear a rant later on. We got lots of time, but show us some of your stuff, please. Show us some grails. So again, Patrick, hey, before you start though, what do you consider a holy grail for a vinyl album? Tell me your definition of it for the folks.
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, this record I'm going to show, I didn't think it was a grail. It's an album that I wanted to get again. But is it something that I would sit there and like freak out about? I kind of freaked out about getting this one, but I mean, there's very few records that I would just sit there and go, holy shit, I mean, like I always say, like, the Sgt. Pepper Nimbus is kind of like the last one to notch in my belt, stuff that I really, really want. But there's stuff that I don't realize that I think is a grail, like this record I'm about to show, that I didn't realize it was a grail until I saw it. And another cool thing about I wanted to talk about was, people say I can never find this stuff, and I go to record stores, there's no grails there, else the stuff's on the wall. Well, you can still find very, very valuable stuff, even at record stores or people who are selling records who know, quote unquote, know records. Even if you know what you look for, if you know more than they do about certain things, and you can always come out sometimes ahead of the deal. So with that, yesterday I went about a little over an hour up the mountain here to a guy who wanted to open a record store, and he used to live in Marin County and just had thousands. He said he had thousands and thousands of records. So went down there, didn't know what to expect, and walked into this A-frame on the second floor. And he's got like boxes of records up high, thank God. And, he's got like $3 boxes, $5 boxes. And he's got like boxes that, are graded and sealed with nice outer sleeves, with price stickers. So I'm kind of like a little bit going, this ain't going to be that great. So I'm looking through the stuff that he had priced, and I see the cover, and I go, oh, I kind of need a copy of Nevermind the Bullets. I'd like to, I haven't had one in a while. I haven't recorded it with my new system. But then I look on the back.
That's the one. I got that one.
And there's no titles on the back. And I said,
yep.
Let's see where this comes from.
Does it have Does it have the extra track?
Yeah, that's the UK.
No, you don't want the extra track.
Right, exactly. That's what I was asking.
That is the UK. It doesn't have the extra track.
Right.
It doesn't have anything. And so this is the one.
That's the one.
What's the matrix number, Patrick, for viewers?
It's A2B1. Ends in A2B1. So this is the first 1,000 or 1,500, whatever you want to call it, allegedly. But this was priced at $20, and I was like going, I am so taking this home with me.
People don't know. Most people who aren't continuing buying records don't know what that one's worth. I know Bradley in Kentucky has been looking for that one. That's the UK blank back cover.
Yep.
I have a copy
So-
because we sold it in a store, and I got it like when it came out.
So this is an example of buying from somebody who's quote unquote knowledgeable. And this would be the same thing. I'm not saying this guy's not knowledgeable. I mean, if I sold jazz records, I'm pretty sure I would be turning loose stuff that's worth a shitload of money, you know, but this is just one of those things where this guy didn't know or didn't really do his due diligence. And so that's this one. And then last night I had dinner with Jim Record Collector News and Rob the Wax. And after dinner, they wanted to go to this record store near my house called The Cave, they have 2 stores here. They used to be called Dimples, and they have a lot of records. They're all overpriced for the most part. And so we're looking and digging through, and I'm finding a few things. And so I see a Metallica album, Man Justice for All, and it was priced at like $11. And so I look at it and I open it, and it looks like, I thought it might be a Walmart reissue, but it had like the 2008 labels. And I said, what are the chances that this is the Rob Laverde MoFi repress of And Justice for All? And sure enough, I looked, there it is. It's a freaking MoFi repress and that's probably like a $50 record. I had it for $11. I'm at a record store, you know, so knowledge is power when you're out shopping for this stuff, man. If you know what to look for, you know, and if you do your due diligence, you can come out with grails that you weren't even expecting. Like that Sex Pistols, I didn't really know, for me it was a grail, but I realized, hey, you know, I wanted to redo this. And I know a guy in England has one of these, and he sent me one before, but I mean, when I got it, I'm going, hey, that's kind of a grail, you know. So that's a good example of a grail that I didn't know was a grail.
So those MoFi Metallicas, or it was done by MoFi but not marketed by MoFi, I think. I think so. And I think some of them, it's a weird thing that not all of the MoFis were actually done by MoFi. I think Bernie Grunman had some mastering in a couple of those cuts as well. It's a weird.
Well, all these have RML Dead Wax, which is Rob Laverde. All 4 of them have.
They're all okay. I always thought there was 1 or 2 other ones that Grunman did, even though it says MoFi on it or something. I swear I saw that somewhere. I could be wrong, but yeah.
So that's 2 examples just of yesterday. You know, I mean, the Metallica is not really a MoFi, but that's just an example of finding a great deal at a record store. You know, if you do the due diligence, you know, so.
Well, there you go. I mean, obviously, all of us who, you know, have Discogs on your phone, you know, any record store we're at, we're going to look up that record or scan the barcode if we're able to. Or do you don't do that? Okay.
I literally don't do that because it kind of takes the fun out of it for me. You know, I don't want to spend my time looking at my phone, looking at disc, unless it's something that I'm really, you know, if I was going to spend big money on something and I wasn't sure of, I might do that. But if I won't spend big money on a record unless I'm pretty sure I can return it.
So where I go in Vancouver now, I took Mazzy to that store, right on Hastings, Mazzy. The owner goes and prices everything based on Discogs. So I know going in.
Which store was that?
Which one is it?
No.
Beat Street Records on Hastings.
Beat Street. Yeah.
I've been to Beat Street.
Yeah, so he prices everything according to Discogs, from what I can tell. So
Rivex Spinner, it's RML. That's Rob Laverde. It's RML, not RL. It's RML. Right. So yeah. Anyway, so like I said, that's a good example of a grail that I didn't know was a grail.
And again, are those the Metallica? Refresh the viewers in my memory as well. Were those also half-speed cut?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And then that would be it would be analog, not DSD, or is it still the DSD time?
No, it's probably 2008, so it's probably pre-DSD, I would imagine.
I disagree with Cripple Creek that it's bad etiquette to take out your phone these days. People do it. You know, a lot of times I'll take out my phone not to look at price, but I look at my Discogs to make sure I don't already have the record.
That's exactly why.
You know, there was a record, in fact, just yesterday, and I can't remember now the record, but I thought it was a Audiofile Torre record. No, one of the Cuban, one of the Buena Vista guys, not the main solo records that Raikuda produced. And I could have swore I bought it, but every once in a while I don't get it. I looked it up and sure enough I had it. So it made me not buy something. So I don't think it's that, you know.
So Rick's V Spinner is saying, don't most record stores base their prices on Discogs median prices anyways? I think a lot of record store owners are going to. I mean, obviously they don't want to lose business either, right? They don't want you to just basically order it on Discogs instead of buying it from their shop.
Bourbon Street is right. Yeah, you got to remember. 7,000 records. Only 2/3 of them are in Discogs now, though.
Bourbon Street says, fact, when your collection is large, you need to help remembering what's in it. I get that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you do it, Patrick? You just know everything in your collection, or you just buy and just hope you don't
once in a
have
while
it?
I come home with a duplicate. It's like and once in a while in the 80s I come home with a duplicate. So nothing's changed.
Yeah.
So I mean I know, but I mean if I see something and I look at it and I go, oh, a lot of times if I have a pressing, I'll go, wait a minute, I've never seen this mastering or this matrix. If it's an album that I really like, I'll take it home and compare the two and figure out which one's better, So I don't do that a lot because, but I mean, for some reason I can remember Matrix shit. For some strange reason, it just sticks in my head. I can't remember.
You can't remember the homework we give you for the show, but you can remember matrices. Amazing.
But I can can tell you what numbers are etched in a lot of classic rock, prog, metal albums. I can, if you ask me, for some reason that just sticks in my head, like useless information sticks in my head.
Love it.
If a store, Chromium mentions a store in Brussels says, if don't take out your phones, you'll tell them, ask you to leave. I'd leave anyway then if that's the case.
Okay.
It's like,
well, they're trying to make sure you don't look at
prices.
prices.
Paint my house. I'm going to get 3 estimates. So I want to,
Just want to give a shout out to Bill Codville. He says he's learned so much about record collecting just by listening to us and the shows. Thank you so much, Bill. Awesome. That's great to know. Yeah, that'd be really weird if you're banned from using your phone in a store. I mean,
they don't want you checking prices. That's why. So
that's, if their prices are fair, they'll get the sale.
I mean,
exactly.
They don't have to be the cheapest one to me, because if I have it right in my hand, and even if it's $5-10 more, maybe I'll buy it right there. So it's done.
Because then I can grade it myself as opposed to somebody else grading it for me.
Exactly.
So, am I supposed to show all my grails now, or are we just going to do it?
I want some Arnaldo time here.
Yeah.
Arnaldo's turn. Go.
So I wanted to preface as well. The Grail is very subjective, obviously, right? There are things that I consider grails because of the artifact. Like Mazzy said, I'd love to have a Butcher cover. I have all the music, but I want the artifact of the artwork, right? And then there's things that I want to have in my collection because I'm kind of a completist for certain artists, and I like to have certain things. So they may be grails for me. They may not be very expensive. They may not be for the music that's on it. It may just be because of I'm filling a hole in the collection, or because I want the specific artwork or a different version. Anyway, I didn't look at your thumbnail today, but I thought this needed a place. Thank you. This was because of sound reasons that I wanted to have a copy of this. And within a year, I think I came across 3 copies of it. And
what is this, first of all, Arnaldo? Tell the folks who are only listening.
I'm sorry. This is the RL cut of Led Zeppelin 2.
Thank you.
And I figured whoever's watching this probably knows why I'm holding up a plain old copy of Led Zeppelin 2. So I came across 3 of them. Not all of them were in great condition, but I found one that is a VG condition, maybe VG plus. And look how much I paid for it.
$16.
$15.99. Wow.
$15.99 for this. Obviously, the record store didn't know or didn't even notice that it was an RL cut. So I guess I got lucky, right? And so this is one that I wanted because I wanted to finally hear what it sounded like. And I mean, it depends if you want something loud and something that's in your face. This is the one. Not saying that the other ones are bad, but it depends on what you like, right? Then moving on to something that I wanted because I learned actually from all these streams from the vinyl community that this was the one to have. And it's not particularly difficult to find, even though now the prices have gone up quite a bit. And it is the Magical Mystery Tour, the German version, the Horzu. This one, there's different versions. Some have the Apple logo, some have the Horzu logo here. And it's because of the 3 tracks that are in correct stereo and not the mock stereo, 3 or 4. I don't remember.
And it has the extra intro beat on I'm the Walrus.
Yes. And I got this on Discogs and was in perfect condition, and I'm happy with it. I've seen since then, I got about maybe a year and a half ago, and the prices have gone up significantly since I got it. So I guess
How much are they now for the horror zoos? I know I think it's
over
a
100.
1973 version is the one I
I
think.
think they're over 100.
Yeah.
I paid like, I think maybe 80 euro. Now they're over 100 because they're almost all of them are in Europe, so they're anywhere between 100, 120.
And Arnaldo, folks don't have that album put up again. It's interesting, the cover. It's very thin compared to any other Beatles
Yep.
album covers as well. It's like it almost can squish the spine if you
It's
put
a little
it together.
on the flimsy side,
right? Yeah, I know.
And then the last one, well, I have a few more. This one is because I love this artist. I may have shown it before on your stream. I've shown it before on a different stream. It is Dusk by The. And this has become a very pricey record because it came out in the times when they weren't printing a lot of vinyl. I think this was 93, if I'm not mistaken, 92. And again, acquired on eBay. I got lucky because it's always hit or miss when you buy something on eBay, depending on the grading. Some people believe overgrade, some people undergrade. So I was very happy with this. And this hasn't been repressed since. I had it on CD in various formats and wanted to have it on vinyl because this was the only one. Actually, I'm missing another one, but that one's a lot easier to find. So that's the Dusk, which is probably one of my favorite of his, probably the favorite. Johnny Marr also plays on this one. He was part of the band. And a grail that was gifted to me. I've always wanted the 30th anniversary, which everyone talked about, and compared it to my 1980 pressing, US pressing, and it was quite revealing how different and how much better it is. But I have an addendum here. Before I got this, or actually right around the same time it was gifted to me, I found a Harry Moss pressing, a late 70s pressing by Harry Moss. I think it's like maybe the 7th or 8th, depending on looking at the matrix. And I would say it may be even better than the 30th anniversary by Kevin Gray. So, but it's all a matter of taste. And so yeah, I doubt I'll ever, this is as close as I'll get to the light blue one. So I guess I'm happy with these two, the 30th anniversary, as well as the Harry Moss. And that's it for the grails that I have. Then I don't know if we have another segment of the wish list grails.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Wow,
we can do that.
No
we can
Smiths
dear
on
that.
all those?
What's that? We can
No
make it
Smith?
up as we go along.
Well, the Smiths are on the wish list.
Okay.
We'll do a
I
wish
know
list
the
at the end,
Smith had to
depending
be
on the
there
time.
Somewhere.
Okay, I got something to show everyone. Hang on, I'll go full.
Right.
So, being from Canada, I've talked about it before. A&M back in the I guess the late 70s, early 80s had their own audiophile label called A&M Audiophile for the Canadian market, half-speed mastered using MoFi's JVS Super Vinyl. So my grail wasn't just one of them. I wanted the whole series. So I basically over time, I didn't bring them all to show, but I mean, here's an example. Supertramp's Paris. This is a double LP live, Paris album, 1980. Sounds fantastic. I'm not sure how rare they are to get these days, even on Discogs. I don't see them in the wild very often, but this is one of the more rare audiophile A&M audiophile pressings.
They're Nautilus. They're Nautilus-ish.
Yeah, half-speed mastered.
People still like that band?
Supertramp, there it is. There.
Lots of people, Mazzy, that not named you.
They do.
So, yeah.
And then again, I brought a few. So I have I don't know how many there are in this series, but I have every single one. And it's interesting too because
you
they
have all
have
the Styx ones too.
I have all the Styx ones, but here's some of them though. They have doubles. So some of their gatefolds and some of them are just and I should have brought the gatefolds. The gold label here. So this is, and you will recognize this. I showed this to you, Patrick, the other day. This is.
Can I say for Patrick, someone should issue that?
Cat Stevens teaser in the Fire Cat. Sounds great. Yeah, that sounds great.
Wonderful record. Yeah,
it's a wonderful record. I mean, it was again, this is JVC Super Vinyl pressed in Japan for the Canadian market. And again, I haven't looked at the prices on Discogs, but I think they're fairly reasonable. And then this was a grail for a while because during COVID you couldn't get it. And this is the Carpenter's Greatest Hits, 1969 to 1973. Now, this one's been played once. You can probably tell from the cover itself. It's
That is
pretty,
actually a good
pretty,
record.
pretty shiny, in really good condition. And I was just looking on Discogs before we got on. There's a couple for sale right now for $24. So for $24, you're getting a, I call it the MoFi, the MoFi, Canadian MoFi. Really good. I love them.
Wow.
So I have them all. I have all the sticks. I have all the Cat
Did you get them at the
Stevens.
same time, or did you collect them over
This
time?
is over time. This is over a sort of a 10-year period. And I've seen them obviously fluctuate, go up in price, and then they've come down in price as well. And in being a big U2 fan, I've got a lot of U2 records. I always wanted a really good copy of a pre-DSD Mobile Fidelity. And so here it is, the U2, the Unforgettable Fire Mobile Fidelity.
I didn't
It's
know
got
they
like
did
a,
that.
yeah, they got like a Japanese, it's got like a Japanese sticker on it here. It says, Andy, what does it say? Andidis 2200. That was the system they used, the console they used prior to changing it up. And yeah, I mean, what can I say? This is for me. This is my best sounding U2 album. Is the Mobile Fidelity that was cut, I guess, in the early to mid 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. So this was a definite grail. I haven't followed these on Discogs to see the prices, but these are the type of records you don't see in the wild very often. I'm just very grateful to have, and I love playing this record. I mean, you can get a Chris Bellman Unforgettable Fire for cheap as well, which sound great, which I have, but this one just has a little bit more punch to it. And I've got more. Now, you sort of scoop me a little bit. I mean, I have the Led Zeppelin, RL SS. I was looking at Discogs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're saying it's about 200,000 that were actually ever pressed of the RL SS, apparently. So I have one of them. Mine's maybe in VG. The last track inside two's got a little bit of a scratch in it, so you can hear it sort of click in a few places. But it, if you want to really pumping, thunderous, lots of bass. This is the Robert Ludwig Led Zeppelin 2 hot cut, as they say. Incredible. This is definitely the best one. But for years before that, I thought I was doing really good, right? Because I had the Led Zeppelin Mobile Fidelity, Led Zeppelin 2 MoFi with the smiley EQ. I hear the ick in the background from Patrick, but there you go. And, for years and years too, I'd always hear about, the classic records, and I didn't know much about classic records, years ago. And I was finally able to get, this is one of my grails. This is Led Zeppelin, the Four Signs, or Led Zeppelin 4 classic records. This is the 200 gram, mastered and cut by Bernie Grunman. And I actually got a great deal on this. I traded a couple of records, and all of a sudden this came to me sealed, never been played before, and I got to play it, and I played it only about 2 or 3 times, and just fantastic. It definitely lives up to the hype, the classic records Bernie Grunman cut. So that would be nice to see, right? We always talk about seeing this on through Analog Productions, but yeah. And we learned through, I guess, Michael Fremer that Chad doesn't have the metal for Led Zeppelin, according to Fremer.
They need to recut all those anyway. So in my opinion, those things do not work well.
And then I know I've been banned, but I will say it: Vertigo, First Pressing, Black Sabbath, self-titled.
Why are you banned? I'm been banned.
I say it too often.
People in the comments got mad at him.
Yeah.
So those are my grails, ones I've over the years. I mean, I love my A&M audiophile cuts from Canada. Those are really close to my heart.
This isn't a grail, but this just fell into my lap a week ago. I had some house guests, anyway, long story. And they gave me a couple records as gifts. And they gave me this. I knew nothing about it. And I showed it on a couple other streams, not your stream. And this is Teen Beat Club. And it's The Weeds' Little Girl. This was, I think, given in Teen Beat magazine or one of those things as a giveaway. 1966 Garage Band. This is Frederick Cole, who was in Dead Moon and Lollipop Shop. Okay. So they tell me, this record's rare. And so I look it up on Discogs. The last 2 sold in November and December for $600 and $700 and something. And there's one for sale for $850. Here's a dilemma. You get a gift from someone. You don't really care. I have singles. I have a lot of singles, but this is like a $500 to $800 record, supposedly. I couldn't believe it. Anybody know more about it?
When's the last time it sold on Discogs, though? I mean, that's
November,
the price.
December.
And for how much?
Mazzy, now that you've shown it on multiple streams, you're stuck with it. You can't sell it.
Yes, fair enough.
Especially because now you're quoting the value. You're stuck with it.
That 45 has been around.
It
has
been
around.
The internet that's kind of like, do you pull the clock out of the closet when your aunt who gave you some clock comes to visit?
Yeah.
Or maybe I get a 3D printer and print a copy in case they come back again. No, but it is interesting that, I mean, that's very generous, and they knew it was worth something. I don't know if they,
All right.
But
someone put it already in the comments. I might as well hold it up. This is on my wish list. What is it? Help me out, Patrick. The -2.
Minus 2U, minus 1U.
Thank you very much. This is a Dutch pressing. This is the earliest I could find.
I actually just got rid
So
of
what? Hang on. So what's
-4.
What's making the Dutch pressing so great? Is it just a fresh tape?
Oh no, it's just
What is it?
I think it has the same. Patrick, is it possible that it has the same matrix number?
It could.
As the UK, is that what you're trying to say?
As the UK, but it
as
sounds
the UK
like
original.
Okay. Like
it's
very
not.
warm. No, it's very warm. It was very well loved.
That could be too, yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted, someone mentioned it. Yes, this is on my wish list, Grail wish list. And should I go on?
Yeah, I'm
all
curious.
Right. So Patrick mentioned the Smiths. I don't have a copy of this on vinyl. I have it on CD. This is Morrissey's "You Are the Quarry." It's missing in my collection. It's like a $200-300 record. And at some point he will give permission to repress it, but of course he'll probably change the track listing, change the album cover. So having an original is probably always going to be very desirable. This was kind of like his comeback album after like 7 years of not making music and arguing with everybody. So it's a solid album by Morrissey. And then also on my wish list, my Grail wish list, is an original of Jeff Buckley's Grace, or the ORG, which goes for like $400, but I can't find myself spending $400 for that. But and then at the top of my wish list, and I don't think I'll ever have one unless I find it at a garage sale and no one knows what it is, a first pressing of Nirvana's Nevermind US version, because that goes for over $1,000, $1,500. So that'll never happen unless I stumble across it.
But there's a lot of good options for.
Yeah, this is actually a first press, Brazilian press, which actually sounds very good.
The ORG sounds good. There's, even the MoFi sounds good of that.
Well, so you're talking. It's the same price. The MoFi goes around for almost $1,000 too, right?
But the ORG doesn't sound bad, and the German 320 doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, but they're all at a bigger price range than what I can think of spending.
Well, but if you see the ones that have Palace stamped on
I have
the cover,
I have that.
Those are the ORG plates. So those use the same plates as ORG did most of the time. Most of the time.
So the same Bernie Grumman cut is on the ORG and on the Palace one.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Usually, you have to go look. There's some that do, some that don't on the Palace. There's things to look for. You can go look for the ORG stuff X'd out. I'd have to go look at mine, but the ORG stuff is X'd out. Yeah. Let me know when you go look. If you have any questions, just message me.
I will. Thanks, Patrick.
So, Mazzy, with obviously you have a vast collection. We all know that.
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done?
Yeah, you skipped me. I got to do one record.
Go.
These guys are like throwing shit out there like nobody's. Mazzy's throwing a single that everyone in the vinyl community has seen 5 times.
Okay, that was your rant then.
One time I showed it.
Okay, so I showed this record. This was in a collection that I bought a few weeks ago. I didn't know it was in there. So this is a Grail that just out of nowhere.
Nice.
This is the original, probably a second press, but it's got the mono International Artist #1. This is in a collection. I bought the collection. I didn't even look through the whole collection. I brought it home. And this is me. I've shown this record before, Mazzy. I've done the same thing. So
we all do.
So this is a Grail that I didn't, like I said, I wasn't looking for it, but I'm like going, look, when I saw it, I'm like going, shit, this is a Grail. So now this is one that I became, when I started collecting records again, I started getting into Vertigo swirls, and I was like caught up in all that shit. And there was a band called Affinity. This band here, Linda Hoyle is the singer, and they're one of the early Vertigo bands. I had this record. I heard this record first. It was on a U.S. pressing on Paramount, which did not sound very good.
Patrick,
but I love
I
the
want to interrupt you. What's the name of the album? Affinity? What's the name of the album?
It's a self-titled Affinity.
Okay,
It's just
thank you.
Affinity. And so there's the cover, the back cover. But this is a phenomenal album. But I was never going to see this in the wild, the Vertigo. And I remember it was the first really expensive record that I bought online. I think I paid like $250 for it. And I remember getting it and like going, wow, I actually have this, and I played it and I loved it. But now it's just been sitting in my closet and I haven't played it probably in like a couple of years. And this was so important to me. And yet now it's just kind of like, I have it. Sometimes is it a grail for the music, or is it a grail because it's the music and you just want to have it? When you have it, it's kind of like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm past that. It's kind of weird. It's almost like finding the record is more the thrill. And then once you get it, you actually listen to it, then you go, So that was it for me.
That's it. Okay.
We're good, Patrick.
Well, I mean, I have an RL Led Zeppelin too, but I figured
I would show us
or
4 or 16.
So when
go ahead.
So when I had Steve Hoffman on, I asked him about some of his, he obviously mastered the Steely Dan Asia. That CD came out in 94. So one of our viewers, Randy, I wanted to give a shout out to Randy, sent me the Steve Hoffman Steely Dan Asia CD to have. And so I would appreciate that. I listened to it, and yeah, it's very dynamic as well. I was really impressed with the Hoffman. It's hard to find apparently, but this is the 1994 Steely Dan Asia CD that Steve Hoffman mastered. So I wanted to thank you for that. And then when he was on the show as well, he said, have a look if you can find the 94 Led Zeppelin 2 CD. And so just yesterday, I was mulling around at our local thrift store, and I came across the 94 Led Zeppelin 2 CD, the first one that was released. Got it for $5 Canadian, and it too sounds really good. So I know it's not vinyl, but yeah, I got some cool CDs. But I'd like to thank Randy again for giving me the Asia. That's amazing.
I know last time you talked about this, and since you're the audiophile guy, I don't know if we're finished with the Grail part of it, but
we are now that you're showing that.
Well, I just want to comment. I paid for this. I did not get it free. This is the Rhino High Fidelity, and I did a shootout, but I don't have the MoFi 45, and which is kind of, I hear it's slightly better, but I think that's subjective, and I'm not usually a fan of 45 anyway. For that,
you have the original.
Oh, my original's great. My original Greenie.
That's a Greenie, yeah.
Is the number one for me. This is a close second. And it's funny, I have two Chris Bellmans. I have the 2010 Warner Brothers Rhino box, the orange box, Chris Bellman, and I have the Vinyl Me Please Chris Bellman. And I thought they were the same cut. They're supposed to be. And the Vinyl Me Please version, I don't know if it's just the cut I got, had a lot of sibilance in it. And it was a little more congested, but I liked the Rhino Hi-Fi much better than the Chris Bellman. That's the one I guess you get now, the 50th anniversary, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's what you get out in the wild. This is excellent. I still don't know why Rhino, hi Patrick, chose to make these like 1/8 of an inch longer than every other record, so they don't quite fit in normal sleeves. They're actually longer than a standard 12 by 12 by just enough to make a difference. They're all like that, cars, everything.
Okay, so let me ask you, what are you hearing differently in the Rhino Hi-Fi American Beauty versus the Greenie right at this point?
I think they're really close, but I think they're, this is quieter because my copy is my 1970 copy, but my copy is in really good condition. It's just a little more natural, a little more. I mean, if you didn't compare and you didn't have both, you wouldn't know the difference. That's the thing. Us idiots who compare music, and if you don't compare, if you don't find a quiet copy, I think this is the best. For $40, I would definitely get this copy. And it has the insert and everything in the cover. I actually did say though, the Vinyl Me Please cover I like better. I like the matte finish better, and I think it's a little richer. This is slightly the way I compared it to if you have an exposure on a camera. I would say This is like 1 or 2 stops more open than the VMP and the original. So it's a little brighter. Now, if you don't compare, this is a gorgeous cover, but the VMP and the original is a better cover reproduction wise. Yeah, the VMP box was my least favorite. And it should have been the same.
I did an Audiophile challenge on this, Grateful Dead American Beauty. And you know what won? The Chris Bellman from the orange box beat the MoFi, beat the Greenie, and I bet you it beats the Rhino.
Yeah,
you'll have to do another one,
Patrick.
Patrick.
Is that
the Chris Bellman in the orange box for me did not beat it. It was third. It was third, and the VMP was fourth.
So what? Well, the vinyl community disagrees with you.
So maybe part of it though too. I mean, the Rhino one's pressed at optimal. Maybe the vinyl's a lot quieter. That helps too. When you're like, what some of the variables that might be there, Mazzy?
It's different systems and different tastes and different rigs. Yeah.
Patrick, is the current, well, I don't know if it's current, they're the ones that were in the orange box, the American Beauty in the orange box. Was it also issued separately? Because I don't know. I have a Chris Bellman cut that has that sticker on it.
It's probably the same cut. It's probably the same.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
It should be. It should be. Okay, I mean, but I can't. I mean, they repress these things so many times.
It's been out a lot.
It's crazy. It's hard to.
There's a 50th anniversary floating around now. I assume that's the same cut too.
Yeah, no, the one I have is Chris Bellman, and it has the tip-on jacket. It's like very hard, cover.
Yeah,
and I'm waiting for the Rhino.
But that box, I mean, that box is old, but that thing, that box sounds great.
It's 2010. It's excellent. It's excellent. If I didn't have my original, I didn't have this, I would think, oh my God. The thing is, the bottom line is that record sounds great any version. It's a really good.
I would agree. Yeah, there's not I mean, of all the pressings when I did that shootout, they all sounded good. I mean, they're not bad. I mean, it was a well-recorded album anyway. I
agree. So that box set is out of print. I mean, what I said in my thing is, for the price of the Chris Bellman now, what is it? Probably a $30 record. I don't even know if you buy it now. This is $10 more. I would go for this for me.
And do you think it'll sell out, or you think it will surpass the Cars Candy-O? Yeah.
I like that these things aren't. I mean, maybe Rhino wants them to sell out.
Well, I think they probably do.
But I like that they're not, so people have a chance to hear people's take, hear reviews. What the television took 3 months, maybe? Is that right?
Yeah, probably
something like that. It probably would have sold in 2 months if the whole debate about Artisan 10 didn't come out.
I think that helped it.
I wonder who came up with that.
416 would sell out in a day. So there you go.
I'm sure it would.
It would sell. Rust titles would sell like gangbusters.
Yeah, I think they would too. I like to tease. Patrick and I like to tease each other about stuff.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the thing. You got to have a sense of humor about this. So.
Well,
this is how me and my friends talk. So
I like to be a fly on the wall when you guys get together in 2 weeks down in San Fran.
I'm ready to rant. Yeah. I'm ready to rant about this. Right? I'm ready to rant. This makes me want to rant.
Oh, you got to rant?
Okay. Hang on. I know you don't like I used to call it a prattle because it's just fun.
I don't even know what that word means.
It means basically just
If I
means rant. Go. Okay. Are you going?
So talking about this with Mazzy, and being someone who does a lot of live streams and goes to other live streams, and people think like when I talk to like people like Mazzy with people that I'm comfortable with, and we start, I'll sit there and say, oh, your taste in music sucks, or this, that, and the other. This is how I talk to my friends. Like when I was growing up, this is what we would do. We'd sit around, drink beer, smoke pot, and listen to music and say, oh, that song sucks, man. Listen to this. We'd sit there and talk, show each other records, and we'd actually sit there and we'd record. We'd tape our stuff, and we'd compare how good, whose tape recording was better than the other guys. This is how we talked. It doesn't mean we didn't like each other. So people get all upset online. I see comments like Patrick was bullying somebody. We're just talking. We're just, hanging out. It's not like we're actually seriously, yelling at each other or being angry with each other. Hell, in 2 weeks, I'm going to go hang out with Mazzy and George Borden at a record show. I'm going to have a great time. It's what we do. We sit there and we talk and we have fun with each other. Don't take it so seriously. Just let it be. If we're mad at each other, you'll freaking know. I'm pretty sure. But I mean, yeah. I mean, at least from my point,
it's about ribbing. There's that, there's that comedy troupe called Please Don't Destroy. They're on Saturday Night Live. It's like that. Those three nerdy guys talking around, dissing on each other. It's kind of like that. I mean, we don't take it seriously. So some people will come in the mix not prepared, and they get all wounded. So, they don't get it.
I mean, I'm not serious about anything, and so that's part of my problem.
You know that.
I just I kid around with everybody, and then when they take it seriously, I go, oh shit, I just assume everybody knows that I'm just a sarcastic.
I know that. I knew when I knew before.
Patrick does like those shit ass bands like Whitesnake and I mean, a Foreigner. Can you get a more generic band than Foreigner?
Well, Patrick, I knew before I put this up, I'd hear a little snicker from you in the background, and sure enough, I did, and I got it.
You got it.
I want to see Patrick.
Why was it snickering? Was it for the pressing or for the album?
Oh, I love the album, but
okay, yeah, because that's one of their best albums.
It is.
Oh yeah, I love that record. Yeah.
Again, Daniel Lanois produced it, fellow Canadian, and he really and I talked about this last time. Really made sure that Larry Mullins focused on his drums. So the drumming on this album is superb, and it really, going into Joshua Tree, you really hear it as well. So Daniel Lanois had a lot to do with the sound on this album. Brian Eno was co-produced this one as well, Mazzy, but Lanio had a lot to do with Larry Mullins.
Don't forget Robbie Detroit's vinyl that we make beef jerky too. Not just that, we also make beef jerky. So
yeah. So, I mean, Patrick and I have a history because in the very beginning, before he was PB Thal, actually, he was PB Thal way back before, but he was the vinyl archivist. And I have a friend, my close friend, who's a real archivist. So I used to say, "Here's the fake archivist," because this.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, I had no idea. I didn't even know there was an archivist. A thing called.
It's a real thing.
So it was a real thing.
People used to call him archivist, but it's actually archivist.
And then I got to meet the real archivist. So
you met the real archivist.
And then I had to go onto the porch with the archivist, and we both came back not quite as sane as we were when we left.
That's because everyone was out smoking pot on the porch
with Coffee Dave, and you go outside with Coffee Dave, and you don't come back the same person.
So that's why you're like this today, Patrick. Here you go.
I want to show. Can I promo something?
Sure.
I just did a really wonderful. I don't do a lot of interviews, but I recorded an interview this morning with this woman, Sasha Berliner. She lives in New York. She's from San Francisco. We're both natives. She's 25 years old, a vibraphonist.
Show the back.
She's fucking incredible. This is on JMI Records out of New York, all analog jazz records, cut to tape, recorded to tape, cut, all analog from beginning to end, sounding great. This woman, as a vibraphonist, is friggin' amazing. She's working on another album now. This will show up tomorrow morning, this chat, 45-minute chat, and influences and how she records. And I didn't know she's the first. I asked her because I watched a video of hers about, do vibraphonists actually use pedals? I know Louis, who's in the audience right now, gallery, they talked about pedals, mostly guitarists using pedals. And she goes, it's not a common thing, and she uses a pedal, not on the floor. She has it propped up because of the way her rig is, her vibraphone. But it was a delightful conversation, and God, I mean, talk about someone. But she does some amazing stuff. So a really wonderful record called Onyx. It's jazz, and it's modern but not out there. It's accessible, and it's really beautiful if you like vibes. So this will be on tomorrow. So, dude,
you're muted. You're muted.
I'm muted. There you go. Well, my dog keeps barking the entire time we're here, so that's why I've been muted the whole time. So yeah. So we'll leave it at that. I think this has been fun. We could go on for hours about grails. I mean, I think it's all about the music that you love. If you love the record, buy it, right, Patrick? Even if you don't like, even if you don't agree.
Well,
get this Rhino hi-fi.
There's nothing wrong with owning the best sounding version of music you love. Don't buy a record because it sounds good. Buy a record because you like the music first and foremost. Then go find the best sounding version that you want. But just don't go out and buy a record because it sounds good. I don't think that's
even digital records sound good. They don't have to always be all analog.
No, not at all.
Right. And however, though, I don't believe that you should always be waiting for the next version that's that much better, that much better. It's like you're never satisfied. There must be another version that's better, you know?
Rick's V Spinner, I don't know anyone that bought the Rhino Candy-O yet. Did anyone buy the Candy-O?
I did. I've got it. I haven't got
What do you guys think of it?
It's on the way due to inventory problems.
That's the inventory problem one. Okay.
It was
So
good.
should-
I mean, none of
you
them
already
are
get it,
bad. I
Patrick?
mean, yeah, Candio. I
Yeah,
think I did. Yeah, pretty
Oh.
sure.
but
And
did
that's the
you,
thing-
Hold on.
you have an original, right? Probably.
Yes, I have an original. I actually just picked up another original yesterday.
So the delay happened. They were doing some sort of inventory count at Warner Rhino, so they had to delay all the shipping until today, apparently. So
yeah, I've got the Candio.
That's
Yeah,
what's
I'm like, am I crazy? Yeah, I've had it for like over a week.
what'd you think?
It was good. I don't think it. I don't think it's better than my original that was cut by Roy Thomas Baker. I don't, and so, but then again, it's one of those things that's it's like, okay, well, how much is it going to cost you to find a mint copy of of the right one to get? So I think it's good to have that album back in print. I'll put it that way.
Right,
It's good to have records back in print.
I went to a record fair and I came across 3 copies that were in very good condition.
So I got 2 yesterday. So.
And I already had purchased it, so that's why I didn't pick it up. So I don't know. And most importantly, I don't own it and I wanted to have it. So that's my new philosophy. I'm going to stop buying doubles. I'll focus a little bit more on records that I don't have rather than buying a different version, a different pressing, just because it was recently remastered.
Yeah, actually, this was cut by George Marino. So yeah, and so but it has RTB the dead wax. So this is I mean, you can probably find this record for probably $10-15, but I mean, but it's going to be iffy. I mean, it's a well-used record. I mean, you don't want the hassle of buying a copy, taking it home, and say it's got like noise on one track, and you're stuck with it. You go out and buy another one, you take it home, it's got a skip on one track, and you're stuck with it. By the time you actually get to the one that you want, you might have paid more than you would have paid for the Rhino. It's just good to have records in print in one way or another.
Right. Westman since he does a audiophile thing, I can't leave without
Hackensack West, Anthony Wilson. There you go.
This is really good. It sounds really good. The music is excellent.
Yeah.
Produced by Joe Harley, and In Groove is the main guy to get it. I think you can get it at other outlets, but In Groove, it's really good. Just want to say that. So
there you go, Kevin Gray.
better than I thought. Actually, I thought I'd like it. I mean, I didn't think it would be bad, but sometimes. But Patrick's talking about sound over music. This is excellent.
Well, I can't do overtime. It's a spring break here in Vancouver. The kids are waiting for me downstairs. I've got to do some family stuff. So we'll leave it at that. This has been awesome, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and spin some of your grails.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.